Thank you for joining us for today's webcast. My name is Tosan Marte. I am the Inbound Marketing Manager here at Aceto. Today's webcast is titled How to Deliver the Ultimate User Experience in Real Time Using Aceto Control. Before we start things off, I'd like to just go over a few housekeeping items. Today's webcast is scheduled for 30 minutes, including Q&A. All participants are in listen-only mode. So if you do have any questions, please use the Zoom webinar Q&A panel at the bottom at any time. And a recording will be available to all registrants after this webcast. So feel free to share this with your colleagues. And now, time to introduce you to the speakers for today. We have our product managers, Osman Haq and Daniel Freelander, who will be walking you through the webcast today. The floor is yours, Daniel.
Thanks so much for the introduction, Tosan. Before we begin diving into the control products, I wanted to just quickly introduce you to who Aceto is and what exactly we stand for. So Aceto is a leading video solutions provider. We go beyond apps to deliver premium video experiences. And in doing so, we've earned the trust of over 400 clients by helping them to solve their biggest video challenges in a constantly changing environment. Aceto can support you along the entire journey of delivering a premium video experience to your end users, regardless of whether you're a new entrant looking to quickly get to market with your apps, or if you're in a mature business where the key is really about improving monetization and the retention of your video services. To remain at the forefront of building video experiences, we've developed Aceto One. Aceto One is the first cloud platform providing operators, broadcasters, and brands with the freedom to build and launch and manage their content businesses faster and smarter. Aceto One has supported our customers to serve their content to over 300 million end users globally. Today, we're going to focus on a really core part of Aceto One called Control, which is how we're going to show you how to deliver the ultimate user experience in real time. So how do we do this? Before we jump into the demo, which I know you've all come to see, it's worth just zooming out a little to recognize that building out a really high quality and end user focused, enjoyable video experience is an exceptionally complex endeavor. We've helped to streamline this by developing and introducing Aceto One. As you can see on the left-hand side of this diagram up on your screen at the moment, we have our suite of creation products. This suite includes Studio, which is a really powerful drag and drop user interface builder, along with our build application framework. And these combine to allow you to create really high quality apps. In the middle, we have our management products, Control and Identity, the former Control, which we're going to be focusing on today. And on the right-hand side, we have our suite of performance products, which allow you to run experiments and gain really critical insight into what's really going on within your apps. The entire Aceto One portfolio integrates with your favorite video platforms, payment providers, and much more, as you can see on the far left-hand side. And it can be used to enable video experiences on any device, whether it's a set-top box, a TV, phone, tablet, smartwatch, or any other device that can play video content. So just to set the scene quickly, I wanted to talk a little about the market problems and changes that the industry is currently experiencing. Like many industries, we in the video streaming sector are experiencing a rapidly shifting landscape. It's evolving quite quickly, largely driven by consumer demand for content on their own terms, as well as brand new technologies and methods for consuming and finding content. We're also beginning to see a convergence of traditional TV and digital video, with the industry generally reacting by looking for new ways to differentiate themselves and cut through the noise. We've already seen the rise of mobile devices and platforms to watch video, and now all kinds of content producers, from broadcasters to digital brands, are looking to create tailored multi-screen experiences. And of course, with this comes the challenge in the multi-screen world of delivering the right content to the right person at the right time, on the right device, and for all the right reasons. Some of the themes that we're beginning to see in this new video landscape include a really narrow range of options available out there to launch and manage a family of apps in this multi-platform world. Secondly, there are difficulties that come with reacting to this need for a more targeted experience. Next, the cost, which usually comes attached to the software developer price tag for even the most trivial of app changes. And then finally, the challenge of growing and scaling a business and app in an effective and cost-efficient manner. So we're finally on to Control. Control is our answer to many of the themes and challenges that we've just finished discussing. The control product itself is exceptionally powerful, as you're going to see in just a second. It allows you as an application owner to deliver a really targeted experience in real time. And by real time, I mean that as soon as you've decided on your business logic behind the experience that you want to serve, you can be in market. This is as easy as you can expect. So you can achieve this without needing to write a business case for engineering time and without waiting on 4 or 5 separate app stores deciding if they're happy to approve your app changes before they go to market. Control does this in such a way that lets you focus on building your apps and your service without managing the infrastructure. It also gives you the ability to incrementally, but more importantly, safely deploy your app changes into production. It allows you to configure your apps and platforms to maximize user engagement across devices and screens. It grows with you. It allows you to scale as your service does. And finally, it empowers your business users to directly implement their logic without relying on software developers. As you can see, Control is being trusted by many well-known names in our sector. It's being used across many types of organizations, from telcos to media companies of all different sizes, different geographies, and with different types of end users as well. We talked a little about scale just before. Very recently, Control was used by several of Exito's customers to deliver tailored FIFA World Cup experiences to over 88 million unique users without missing a beat globally. Finally, I'd just like to share a really quick case study from one of our customers, Astro, who's Malaysia's largest and top pay TV operator. Working closely with Astro, Exito redeveloped their existing pay TV everywhere app called Astro Go, and also helped them launch a similar TV everywhere app for their free satellite service called Enjoy Now. Both these projects were delivered using a combination of Exito's products and services, and feature apps that span iOS, Android, and web platforms. The addition of Control in both of these services gave Astro the flexibility to manage their apps, which my colleague Osman is shortly going to be showing you. In addition to the flexibility, the reliability of Control means both services are enjoying super high levels of reliability while handling large traffic in the case of Astro Go and a growing audience for Enjoy Now. Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to my colleague Osman, who's going to show you how you can actually go about delivering the ultimate user experience in real time using Exito Control.
Thanks so much for that great overview, Daniel. Today, I'll be demoing how to perform 2 key features that are available today in Control. First, feature toggling. Users can parameterize feature flags so that developers can create features on client applications like web or Android, but essentially have business users be the ones that actually promote those changes into the market. And next, we'll go over how to use Control's scheduling functionality to really target users with engaging content based on the time of the day. Video product owners often know that content engagement rates and time of the day are often correlated, and Control essentially lets users take advantage of that fact and those relationships and truly highlight content in a way where users are more likely to click and watch those videos. So Control can power a wide range of platforms and devices. For the purpose of this demo, I'll be showing off an example application that's built using our web platform. But essentially, Control can expand to Android, iOS. It could be a Roku device, smart TVs, any platform essentially that is capable of playing video or even non-videos focused applications. So as I mentioned before, Control lets users group configuration and content into a collection called profiles. And each profile can be constructed in a way that really suits a developer's or content author's needs, with flags for, it could be site layouts, third-party system integration IDs, color palettes, feature flags, or anything really. In today's example, we'll essentially focus on feature toggling. So if I scroll down a little bit, we have a parameter called feature toggles. Clicking on this feature toggle will essentially show us what this application is currently configured with in terms of what's allowed to be feature toggled today. In this example, we'll actually turn on something called social sharing. But before I do that, let's take a quick look back to our video application. So a typical video application usually has a homepage similar to what you're seeing right now. but the ability to click on the video usually shows you something called a video details page. And essentially what we'll be doing is adding a social sharing option that a user has access to when they essentially launch this page. So if I go back to control and click on the social sharing button, what just happened now is I've enabled social sharing on this profile. And on another part of the application, this profile is currently hitting all of my web users. So essentially, if I go back to my application, if I do a refresh to pull the latest configuration for this application and click again on Born Leader, our users now have access to a share feature. So they can share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or essentially any platform that you want to share your video with, depending on how you integrate social sharing. What's really important to know with this change is that right away, without any engineering effort, without any need to resubmit back to an app store, without any need to do a recertification for my application as well, I can essentially get my changes out to my users really quickly. It's just a matter of enabling a feature flag. Great. So next, we're going to go over how to schedule content. In Control, we offer the ability for users to create calendar events based on specific times of the day. For this purpose, I'm going to create an event. I'm going to call this event afternoon and evening. I'm going to give it a time. Let's say we'll start this event from noon, and we'll have this event continue onwards to, let's say, 10 p.m. And because it's a very generic event, like afternoon, evening, I'll probably want to reuse this event sometime in the future. Yay.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. We'll be right back in a second.
Hey, Tosan, I'm back here.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of an internet hiccup here. So essentially, I was able to create a calendar event that spanned between 12 p.m. and 10 p.m., and that's going to be recurring indefinitely. So now that I have a calendar event called afternoon and evening, what I can do is I can go back to my specific application, and I could actually make something called a targeting rule so that I can target specific content to a certain time of the day. In order to do that, we're going to create a new rule. We're going to select a profile that I've created just before this meeting called Production Teams. And now we can figure out how we want to target this profile to our market. So I'm going to target the web platform. I'm going to target Canada as my user base. And because I'm demoing this on a particular device, I'm going to demo this on my demo devices. And I'm also going to add one more targeting rule called calendar. And in this event, in this selection, I'm going to pick afternoon and evening. And essentially what this is doing is it's telling me that for Canadian users of the web platform that are accessing my application in the afternoon or evening, that they should get this profile. So I'm going to move this up towards the top of my allocation table. And now that it's allocated in my allocation table, we're set. This is essentially doing a production deployment for your application. So if I go back to my application, do a refresh, essentially I've added in a new swim lane without any changes needed to my application. So in this way, I've highlighted Batman Mania, which is essentially targeting a teenage audience, so that it gives them a little bit more content to be engaged with at this specific time that we've specified in our calendar. So that's a quick introduction on how feature toggling and scheduling of profiles works within Control. There are a lot of great features essentially available to our customers to help them manage video applications, and we really hope to show you some more of these unique use cases in the near future. At this point, we'll open the floor to anyone that has any questions. If you have anything, feel free to ask us anything in the Zoom Q&A, and Daniel and I will do our best to address.
That's right, and Oz, we do have a couple of questions that are beginning to roll in. The first question that has come in is just to clarify, can you let us know which platforms and devices are supported by Exito Control?
Yeah, for sure. We support essentially any type of platform. Most platforms in our that our customers have used are essentially integrating with a REST API. And what that allows our customers to do is essentially any type of platform or device that has an internet connection, they can connect with. So in the past, we've integrated with gaming consoles, various different smart TVs, a wide range of Android TV boxes and things like that. So although we have big support for Android, web, iOS, the premier platforms, we can also support any niche platforms that are available to connect with.
Fantastic. Our second question, what kind of options are available to test my changes prior to deploying them into production?
Great question. As I shown in the last part of the second feature demo, was we have something called a profile allocation table. And in that table, you can essentially create whitelists. And whitelists are a great way for people to really test their changes prior to deploying to a wider market. And we support whitelists on for specific devices. We also support whitelists for an entire IP range. So a great use case for that is if you have an internal office that is home to, for example, your QA team or your product team, it's a great way to whitelist an entire office IP so you can safely really test things out prior to pushing that change out to production.
That's awesome. Keep your questions rolling in. We've probably got time for another 2 or 3 questions. But our next question, what types of data are supported in a profile?
Another great question, Daniel. As data structures in Control are very flexible. Right off the bat, we support text, numbers, lists, file types like images. Some customers have even used binary files to have a little bit of a unique way of getting the application onto a device. And we also support something called entries, which actually relates back to our CMS that we hope to show you sometime in the future.
Fantastic. And I think we've got time probably for one last question. This question is about data sensitivity. Is it possible to limit access to sensitive data that might exist in a profile?
Yes, it does. So in Control, because of the nature of the product, we're often dealing with really sensitive information. So these could be something like an integration key, or it could be an analytics or payment provider ID that really connects with another system that really has sensitive information. So to better handle those use cases, we have two sets of features that help users really lock down who has access to see that type of data. So on the field level or on the parameter level, certain fields can be marked as sensitive, so that only users that have the ability to view and edit that specific field can do so. And the other way that we manage sensitivity is on a profile level. So once you have all of your fields allocated to a profile, it could be something like production teams in my example. Those profiles can further be locked down so that only users that have access to manage sensitive profiles can be the ones that change those profiles. In a production environment, you want to lock down who makes changes and when to certain things. And those features really help our users really control who gets access to do those types of things.
Thanks for the answer. And I'm afraid I think we're just about out of time. Rest assured, if you've asked a question and we haven't managed to get a response to you, that we'll pop you a response very soon via email. But thank you so much for your time. I'm going to pass you back to Tosan's capable hands.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation, guys. Another thing I wanted to add today is that we are going to be at IBC next 2 weeks. Oz, do you mind changing the slide to the IBC details? Great. So we're going to be in Amsterdam at IBC. So if you do have any questions or if you'd like to meet us in person, please stop by our stand at E1014 between the dates of September 14th and 18th. I will also be sending a link to the landing page where you can also book a meeting. You can pick a day and time that works for you, or you can actually select a day, a demo that you are interested in seeing as well. Thank you so much for your time today. Feel free to send us any more questions if you do have any additional questions. We'll be sending you a recording of this webcast and also answers to the Q&A session as well. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.